So you might think that to start a business, you need to go to business school or get a degree or learn an entirely new field like finance or management. But what if I told you that you could use the knowledge you already have to make extra income? See, I'd spent 10 years of my life studying to become a doctor, and I finally landed my dream job. But after a few years of corporate work, I couldn't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. I wanted to build something of my own and be my own boss and control my own schedule. But the problem was I spent so many years getting my MD that it got me thinking, how can I leverage my existing knowledge from being a doctor and milking extra income outside of the hospital? Well, we live in a time now where it's never been easier to monetize just about any skill or knowledge that you have. For me, I gained many different transferable skills during my training as a doctor. Not just medical and health knowledge, but my ability to study, learning how to learn, my research and analysis skills, how to teach, and how to give presentations in front of groups of patients and doctors. So in this video, I'm going to show you a 3-step framework I use to build an online business without completely throwing away all the skills and schooling I already invested in. This is what eventually set me free from my day job and allowed me to work on my own schedule and on my own terms. Let's start with who your customers are. The way I like to think about this is to think about people who are the past, present, and future versions of yourself. Because if you know yourself pretty well, then you already have an advantage in understanding your customers because they'll be just like you. So let's use me as an example, right? I'm currently an online coach and entrepreneur, but my past self was working as a doctor in the hospital. So I would be well equipped to help other doctors get to where I am today by starting an online business. Obviously, my customers don't have to be just doctors, right? I can really help anyone who's a few steps behind me, who are still working a traditional job but want to start an online business. So doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, it doesn't so much matter what job you have, so long as you were in my shoes a few years ago and you want to be where I am now. From not having a business to having a profitable online business. The present version of yourself would mean, what are you doing right now? What problems are you solving right now? And can you share the lessons with others who are on your same journey at the same part in the journey? I am currently an entrepreneur building an online education business, and I'm in the scaling phase where I'm trying to hire and build a team and build systems into my business. I'm not at the beginner stage anymore. So if you're at the same point in the journey as me, then I can help you by selling online courses, or I can invite you to a private community where I share templates and playbooks with you. The daily learnings and problems that I solve in my business can be packaged and used to teach others who are also in the scaling phase of their business. So for example, we built Notion templates to help us manage our team and our content production. So we took that and we repackaged it and sold it as a digital product. We also built workflows and processes to grow our YouTube and content engine. So we offer those as coaching and video editing services to help you grow your YouTube as well. Now, third, we have the future self. This is helping people that you want to become or the people who already achieve things that you want to do. So again, using myself as an example, I someday want to be able to remove myself from my business operations so that I'm no longer the bottleneck for my business. So if I can figure out systems to scale myself out of my business in a reliable way, then I can consider selling that to others who want to do the same. Now, another way to approach this problem, and I think this is one of the most underrated ways, is to serve your future self. Is to actually go and work for your mentors. So this would be taking on internships or becoming an apprentice of the people who have already done the things that you want to achieve. Because if you work for them, you can see their day-to-day problems and identify what sort of services you can offer to make their life easier, right? So maybe my mentor is in desperate need of help in building an AI chatbot. Maybe the entire industry needs help in building AI chatbots. Then you have a business idea right there that you've seen with your own eyes and you know that there's demand for it. Plus, if you're getting paid by your mentors to work for them, then it's essentially getting paid to learn. And the most important thing here is to identify customers that share the same values and interests as you. And where better to look than people who are just like you, right? These are people that you actually care about. It'll make it much easier to continue serving them for many years to come. The next part of this framework is to look at who you are. which is equally important because this will determine whether or not someone is willing to buy from you. When I was first starting out on YouTube, nobody knew that I existed. But 5 years later, there are people all over the world who know that I exist. And a portion of those people actually like me as a person, thankfully. And a portion of those people trust me enough to buy my products because they trust that I can help solve their problems. The reason anyone would be willing to pay you for something is that they must first trust you. But before someone can trust you, they have to at least like you. And before anyone can like you, they have to know that you even exist. This is the know, like, and trust ladder. But it starts with knowing that I exist and knowing what it is I even do. The most efficient way to do this is to create content and use the internet for distribution and to gain awareness. And of course, there are many ways to do this, right? You could write a book and get it published. You can create advertisements and run it on Meta or Google Ads, or you can do what I did and create free content and publish it on social media or any platform with an algorithm, really, just as long as it puts your work in front of other people who are interested. All right, let's talk about the like factor, right? What does it mean for people to like you? Well, I think a better way to measure this is to ask, there are a lot of other people who do what I do, right? Who coach online businesses like I do, who coach YouTubers like I do, but I have a unique background and values that set me apart from those other people, right? My background as a doctor has made me very interested in science-based strategies and collecting data to make decisions. Think of all the things that make us who we are, right? I started my business with my brother. I'm an Asian American from Los Angeles. I love to work out, I love to watch movies, and so if you resonate with that, then there's more of a chance to build a connection. It's all about what unique perspective we can bring to the table to better connect with our customers. And finally, the trust factor. The best way to win people's trust is to show that you have expertise and experience in solving their problems. You want to show your credentials, your testimonials, your proof of success. For example, when it comes to studying and getting better grades, I have a lot of trust from students because I went to medical school, which is very academically competitive. I have the credentials there, so people trust the methods that I teach. When it comes to YouTube, I've scaled multiple YouTube channels. This one passed 1 million, so I have trust there as well. So think about what problems you've had success in solving, right? Maybe you've learned how to play the guitar, maybe you're exceptionally good at using Excel sheets, maybe you know how to interior design based on wabi-sabi, right? This trust factor is very much dependent on the knowledge and skill set that you have to offer, which segues nicely into this third part of the big picture, which is the product that you sell. Your product is basically your knowledge and skill set packaged nicely and delivered to your customers to help them solve their problems. One of the biggest mistakes I see aspiring entrepreneurs make here is that they'll think about the product first without getting a good idea of the people they wish to serve or the problem they wish to solve. When I was starting out selling courses on how to study, I went all out and I spent months putting together an entire curriculum of all the things that I thought people wanted. But when I started selling it, no one bought it because it was full of things that nobody cared about. So at that point, I had to really ask people, why didn't you buy it? What do you really want? You see, I thought people wanted as many hours as possible of videos and dozens of study techniques. But it turns out my customers were really struggling with procrastination and motivation, and they were interested in only a certain few study methods. So I had to go back and trim it down to create a product more in line with what people wanted to pay for. And it was my fault. I was getting too self-absorbed in what I knew. I was nerding out about all the knowledge that I had, but what I needed to do was figure out how to meet my customers where they are and to just deliver the specific skills that they needed to solve their problems. So instead, what I recommend you do is you create an MVP, a minimally viable product, something that's low effort and low cost to build so they can use it to quickly get feedback from people and validate that you're on the right track with your business idea. So instead of building out an entire course like I did, which could take months to do, I would instead do a workshop on the very first lesson just to see if people are even interested. And in that workshop, maybe you thought they wanted one thing, and it turns out they want something completely different. Well, now you just saved yourself all the trouble of building something that people don't want. And finally, one of my favorite things to do is to send out polls and quizzes and have people answer them to see where they are in the journey and what struggles or roadblocks are keeping them from reaching their goals. When I was building my course, I sent out a study quiz to help people rate the effectiveness of their study routines. And before I sent out that quiz, I thought that people were looking for advanced study techniques and how to optimize their study system. But I learned that many people were still at the beginning of the journey and they wanted more of the fundamentals. And I wouldn't have known unless I sent out that quiz. Nowadays, you might not even need to build an MVP. You can simply validate your products or business idea by pre-selling. So for example, if you have this amazing idea to make a keto-friendly, high-protein burrito, and you're able to sell it to people, and I mean actually collect money and payments from people, then that alone is enough to validate your idea. In which case then you can now use that money that you collected to go and make those keto-friendly, high-protein burritos at the best quality that you can. If you want to build a profitable business based on the knowledge that you already have, then you just have to get these 3 components right. And once you've found that product market fit, then your business will grow at an exponential rate. Now, the best way to collect information and validation and lock in these 3 pieces is by talking to your potential customers, right? Either one-on-one through Zoom calls or one-to-many, all at once, like through social media and content creation. Your line of communication with your customers is the lifeblood of your business. And if you ask me, the best channel for creating content is YouTube. I've created content for pretty much every platform. And let me tell you, nothing beats YouTube, because a YouTube video can be repurposed to text, audio, to short form, but it's not as easy to repurpose the other way around. But that's a topic for another video, which you can check out right here.